Good morning, everybody. I'm Go Via Go Home, and welcome to the Sunday Brunch Kit Builds. We show up every Sunday. Every Sunday we show up. Sometimes it's at 10 o'clock, sometimes it's at 12 o'clock. If you're lucky, it'll be 11 o'clock. But today we're starting at 10. So bright and early, I just rolled out of bed. As you can tell, that's why I'm half asleep. But that's okay because most of the time when I'm building kits, I'm half asleep anyways. Big shout out to everybody in the chat who showed up. Welcome, everybody. So, kits. Yes, kits. I got two of these. My farm equipment, the elevator thing. You know, with all the time in the world that I don't have, I did not add the decals this week, so I won't be weathering it today. So, in the essence of doing a kit, or in this case, two kits, I've got two of these modern concrete highway overpass. There's three different versions of this kit, but this is the one I've got. You can tell because there's a different locomotive on the front of each one. I think there's a GT on one, and then another one on the third one. But yeah, this is the concrete overpass, and you can tell because there's like that concrete barrier there. Yep. So I'm going to more or less clean these up today and prep them. I'm going to have to do a custom build with these because I'm trying to make a double wide bridge, and it's going to span over 4 tracks with a little gap in the middle. So that's why I'm going to need those concrete barriers as well to kind of support the middle of the bridge. So that'll be fun. And yeah, it's for the middle level of my layout. So I got to get more of that done. Before I start, though, I'm going to do two things I need to do. And you can tell how prepared I am today by the fact that I haven't done it yet. Okay, here we go. Okay. First things first, the old copy and paste, and there you go. Okay, so if anybody does want to join me in typical Sunday brunch build fashion, there's a link. You can jump on, join me, and keep it about trains, but you know how we do. And the second thing I want to do is say hi to everybody who has showed up. Bubs, how's it going, Bubs? And Mr. Brian Ferguson. And Trackside Mike finally gets a day off. And Trains by Perry, how's it going, Perry? Brian from Inked Rails. Mr. Wigwag, how's it going? Mike Joe Trains. Hello, hello. All of you should be working feverishly on your layout. That's right. And was there anybody else? I think I saw a John. Which John? John 45, I think. Mr. Eminem Rails. How's it going, Mark? John 2618. How's it going? All right. So just what's for brunch? Well, the breakfast of champions. Hashtag not sponsored, but probably should be. Drink enough of that stuff. Jeez. So just to kind of let you guys know, today is Sunday, obviously, the 29th. Tomorrow night, Mike, and I think we'll be over on Mike's channel at 7 o'clock. Mike and James, they always do a Halloween show leading up to Halloween or Halloween night, but in this case it's the night before. So there has been promises for Mike to put another hole in the wall to run more trains through. So let's see if that happens. I'm really excited. They always dress up and whatnot too, so we'll see what they've got going on tomorrow night over on Trackside Mike's channel. And then Tuesday, I think my wife is working at the office, So that means I'm going to be at home alone by my lonely onesie. So I'm probably going to do a Halloween live where I just run some trains, but I'm going to keep to the theme. I feel like I've got a ghost, a gray ghost, and I've got some orange and some green trains that I can probably run for you guys. So I'm probably going to do that Tuesday, morning, midday kind of thing, because I'll be taking obviously my kids out trick or treating at night. So yeah, that'll be Tuesday. And then because that's the 31st, we're into November. November, the first Thursday, we've got Tim. So this Thursday coming up, we'll be on They Make It Like That's channel. Then the 9th, will be on Mike and James's channel. They're going to cover because we've got 5 weeks in November, and I'm going to be gone for like most of it. So Mike and James are going to do a week. I don't know whose channel it's going to be on, but obviously, if you've got that little bell notification thing, then someone will let you know. The 16th, we've got Dave Co. The 23rd, we've got M&M Rails, and then I will do a live. I'll take the last Thursday of the month, Third Rail Thursday. Yeah, but when I come back from my vacation, the first Sunday. So I've got one more Sunday. Next Sunday, I'm gonna do another kit build, and then I'm off for a week. And then on the 19th, we start the group build. Where did that kit go? Oh, here it is. On the 19th. Oh, geez. We're starting this. So if you have not picked up your kit yet, listen to that. There's a lot in here. I am so excited. This is going to be a big kit. And yeah, even the vents are nice. Jeez. Okay, well, I got my work cut out for me. But I spoke with Lauren at Otter Valley. He has more that he got in because he originally got in like 10 of these, and I think Mike bought them all. No, they sold out of them, but they got more in. I think they've got another 5 of these in stock. So if you have not picked up yours yet, I think it was like 110. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you're there in the chat, but was it 110 for this? But definitely worth it, seeing as how you get a whole bunch of accessories and whatnot with it. And you know that they give you more than what you need. So definitely worth it. And we're going to start that as a group. I know Mike has his, and Dave from Crooked River, he's going to be joining us as well. So the 19th in the morning, the brunch build, we're going to do our next group build, and that should take us right through till Christmas, I believe. So that'll be fun. All right, that was all my notes. That was everything I needed to mention there. Let's get started with this. We're gonna, just in case you guys have never had one of these bridge kits before, I've done a couple. I really like it. It's a somewhat new kit from Walters. And like I said, there's 3 different versions. With the other one that I have, I wonder if I can look it up real quick, just to let you know what versions there are. Give me 1 second. If I type in, there we go. Highway overpass. Okay, so it's going to give me a couple of different versions, but okay, here we go. So there is a modern steel and concrete. So basically, the steel is what supports it, but then there's going to be a So that's a concrete abutment almost on the side here. So that's this one here, right? So this is just the concrete one. The more modern one has a railing on top of there. And then the other one, that's the one I have. Oh, no, that's the concrete. Then there's a steel one as well. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they put parts for all three and they just give you three different boxes and call it three different things. Either way, these are $47 each. But I'm going to double check that and I'll let you know. Not much to it, as you can obviously see. Okay, so now basically the way they have this, and it's really silly, they should make an extension kit because, and I'm going to tell you why. So this flat part here is what spans your entire bridge. And when we look at the underside, that is the actual span of the bridge. So what they want you to do is they want you to put your supports, your metal support beams, right across here, which is fine. But what they're saying is that if you want to make it longer, if we're looking at this, if you want to make it longer, then you need not only, a second one of these, but you also need another set of these. So you would need to buy two kits, which is, well, one kit is 47, that's 80, 90, $91, I think. So $91 just to make it a little bit longer, and you would basically be using this out of the second kit. You know what I mean? That's that's weird, right? So yeah, I don't like that. I'd like them to just put out a kit that's just this, even if you make it like, half price or like $10, just an extension kit. But what's going to end up happening here is that instead of me going too long, I've got to go too wide. So that means, this and then another one here instead. But it still has to technically be longer because I'm going over several tracks. So what this kind of looks like, and I might just have to open up the second kit just to really show you. This is why doing this kit in here might be a little bit more difficult, as I can build some of it, but doing all of it without the exact measurements right in front of me might be difficult. Hey Kyle, how's it going? Whoop. Now you can probably buy styrene that would do the exact same thing, which is fine because you can get big pieces of styrene and then just attach them all together and away you go. which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. But yeah, I don't think I need 2 sets of instructions. So what I'm more or less going to do, or at least what I'm thinking of doing, is highway overpass that's looking something more like this. And then if you have, I'm just going to kind of show you a mock-up of that. Because all I would need are some jersey barriers, which I do believe Mini Prints does have. See, I think this is where kind of like Rick's products might be a better situation, because they, you can buy just the top part of the bridge. You can buy just the pier part of the bridge, but they don't sell the abutment part of the bridge. So at least I haven't seen that. So this is roughly how that would look. And I would need to somehow secure that all together. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty big. I don't really like the pattern that's on the top here, because it looks like it's tiled. So I think I would have to put like something over that. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But I'd be going, wide like that, and then I would need almost 2 long, just to maybe 1.5 even, because that's a pretty long bridge. Problem is that the back part curves, so this is not going to be straight like this, and the front also curves. So it has to be long enough to, fit the entire section and worry about the curve and cut the curve as well. There's a lot to it, but I'm sure we'll get through it. I think it's time Chris gets a 3D printer. Yeah, I don't know. A 3D printer. See, there's certain things that I'm good at, and then there's certain things that I'm not good at. And when someone else does that stuff, in this case, there's a number of other people that have 3D printers that are probably way better at it than I am. I would sooner just pay them to do it, and then that's less stress on my end. Mike's off to Otter Valley. Okay, well, I want one of these and one of these. Mark needs some tank cars. Oh, just one. I think Mark wants another one of those green tank cars, or another 3-pack of those Athearn. What is it? Was it Athearn? Yeah, the ethanol. Yeah. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, but if you're in the Otter Valley area or GTA area, Southern Ontario-ish neighborhood, They just got in their next run of cars, and technically there's two different ones. So the first one, the first release they had was the 6400 trash gondola, and I did a review on those and unboxing. Mike and I weathered and graffitied some on a Sunday build. Awesome cars, awesome detail and whatnot. Highly recommended. But along with the 6400, they now have the 6000s available, which is I want to call it the little brother because they're a little bit shorter on the sides. Obviously, different road names like AIM. That's one that I know Mike was looking forward to as well. It's all black, and then it says AIM in white right in the middle. Those are really nice. And then, of course, the bulkhead pipe load car, which is perfect if you're modeling the GTA, because they do a pipe pickup service somewhere down in southern Ontario there. And I've actually seen a string of just those cars just off the highway. I think there was about 10 of them in a row, and they were just sitting up on the siding there. But yeah, you can do just a whole train of just the pipe car, which is neat. There's also a lot of exclusives going on right now at Otter Valley, because they also work with other manufacturers like Rapido. And with these RS18Us that just came out, which is a really good locomotive, they just did a bang-up job on that. But if you're modeling the Southern Ontario Railway area, there's also a locomotive. It's called the Trillium, a Trillium unit. I think there's two different numbers. I might be wrong about that, but I do believe that there's two different numbers. And those are exclusive only to Otter Valley. So if you want the all black Trillium RS18Us, you can only get them from Otter Valley. And those are also available now, so that's cool. I'm hoping to get my pipe cars and 6000s within the next couple of days, so watch for a video. I'll do an unboxing and review of those for you guys, just in case it's something that you are interested in, or if you're not sure. But Otter Valley is going to be coming to Chris said it. Oh, what I said? Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't say the R word. So Otter Valley is going to be coming down to Springfield again in January, this January. And I will be joining them. Mike will be joining. I'm pretty sure Mike will be joining them. And we'll all be at the Otter Valley booth hanging out. And I believe they'll be bringing some of the cars to sell. So just in case you don't get a chance to come out to Otter Valley, you know that they'll have some with them. So stock up while you're there. It'll save you on the shipping anyways. So. AIM, that's right. I'd love to do a 10-car pipe car load. Oh yeah, they also sell loads for the cars as well, just in case you were wondering. They're all... I want to say they're homemade, because I think that Hilda makes them at home, opposed to made in-house, where would insist that they're made at Otter Valley. They are technically homemade, but yeah. Yeah, John, I'm looking forward to seeing you at Springfield. That'll be a good time. make sure you come up and say hi. Get yourself a sticker, because I'll have some of my "You Met Me in Person" stickers, and yeah, collect them all, more or less. Are we still doing the sticker thing? Who cares? AOL. OMG. I've never been to Springfield, and I rarely get off my couch, so it'll be nice to, come out to Springfield and hang with everybody for the weekend. Be social. And, talk trains, see what all the manufacturers have on the way, I'm just trying to get through Christmas myself, and yes, I can say Christmas because it's almost November. So if it was like September still, that would probably like irk some people, but you know what time of year it is. Or what's the rule? It's like when you hear Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas" on the radio, that's when it's Christmas or something. That's when you can talk about it legally. I don't know. As long as it doesn't snow, I don't care. So yeah, so on these underside beams, support beams, there is a little piece that sticks up, and it links right into this. So what I'm assuming is that if you've got two of these, you're basically going to chop it here and you're going to chop it here so that it's technically this long, which that's not a bad length, if I'm being honest. I just, again, I worry about the whole curve this way and then curve this way, but I think that would probably work as far as getting four tracks underneath that, and then obviously you put these, like you glue two of these. Oh, that's not it. It's this one. You glue two of these side by. Oh, that's not even the right one. Okay, where is it? Okay, so you glue two of these side by side like this to make one long support, and then that would go right here, and then basically that should support the two. I don't think that would be enough, though. I think I'd have to put something on the underside in between just to kind of, keep it from bowing. Otherwise, we'd have to name it David and then try to explain David's bridge to everybody. And like, why is it David? Because it bowies, right? So you want to avoid the bowing. Unless it bows upward, like more like an arch, then that's okay. But these bridges here don't seem to want to do that. And you'd have to bow everything. Like you'd have to somehow bow these as well. Which I don't know if that's even, which way would it go? It would go that way. Yeah, you'd have to kind of have it go up like that and then have that one go down like that. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna borrow the Bonanza and fly to Tilsonburg. I'm sure there's a local Tilsonburg airport. So I'm just cleaning all these off here because I'm going to need all of them technically. Yeah, with Springfield, it's like I kind of, well, with last year, I'm like, oh, I'd love to go, but I thought it was a different show. I thought the Springfield show and the Amherst show and another show were three different things. And I thought that it would have been a 12-hour drive for me to Springfield because I had mapped it out. I can't remember what the other show is that I was mistaking, or that I had mistaken Springfield for. But then when I was corrected, it turns out that Springfield is only a 6-hour drive, or 6.5. I don't know. I guess 6.5. And I'm like, oh, that's not as bad as 12 hours. I can do 6 hours. Shoot, I've done to Tilsonburg and back in one day, and that's 6.5, 7 hours one way. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I can definitely do that. That's not a problem. And then, of course, I was too late on that. And trying to get time off with my work is not always easy. Like this upcoming week, we'll be scheduling time off for next year. And it's like, I don't know what I'm doing next year yet. But because there's so many people that work, and they go by seniority and all that, and they have to, go down the list and see what everybody, wants as far as their weeks. And I've been there long enough that I get 4 weeks of vacation. So then I got to come up with 4 weeks that I need off. Thinking of like 2 is already most difficult. Like, as long as I don't work on my birthday and the week in September that Otter Valley normally does the pop-up event, I'm usually pretty good. That's what I base my year off of. So I was watching last year because they were doing quite a few live streams from Springfield. And I was quite jelly, to be honest. I was like, oh man, I am missing out so bad right now. Because there's lots of cool stuff going on. So I'm like, okay, next year will be the time that I venture out. I will go forth and venture. So not missing it. Mark, do you not like my driving? You know what I hate? I hate when the GPS tells you to turn, left or right, and by the time it tells you, you've already passed where you needed to turn. You're like, oh, well, that was fun and convenient. Well, I was going to say, I don't think you've ever been with me in a vehicle. So, watch out, Mark. Recalculating. Yeah, isn't there like a wind thing that you got to take into consideration? It was so windy here yesterday. I was seeing birds do that thing where they're trying to fly, but they're like hovering in one spot, and the wind is keeping them up. Oh yeah, isn't Dave like a Formula One racer? I mean, I know it's mostly video game, but I'm sure that can be applied to real life somehow. Hey Chris, how's it going? I am building the start of a big bridge. I've got two of these. I've got two of these kits here, the Modern Concrete Highway Overpass by Walthers. So I picked up two of them to make a long, wide bridge. So that's the fun I'm having here. Thank you, Bubs. You can tell that was genuine because I didn't tell you to be like, hey, Bubs, come to my defense. You were in a car with me. Yeah, Chris, it's been a minute. I know we just talked on Messenger the other day, but with a bunch of ITLA backdrop buildings, just a little switching thing, make it look real good. I kind of want to do that's my project for next year. I'm gonna get an ITLA kit. It'll be my first full wood kit that I get. I even know where I would put it on the layout. That's how far in advance I am with this thing. I'm invested now. Yes. When Chris, where were we? I think we were at Old Otter Valley, where Otter Valley used to be. We went out there. We even filmed a clip or something. That was hilarious. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard. Yeah, it's been too long, man. Too long. I don't have the Lancer anymore though. I'm back to SUV. Chris, do you still have your Jurassic Park Jeep? I always forget to ask you. Yes, Mark. Well, mind you, any car I have was probably too tall for you, anyways. You'd probably look like, Dino from the Flintstones sticking out the sunroof. Oh, you got rid of it? Oh, jeez. It happens. It happens. I'm wondering, do they? Okay, yeah. So they give you. Oh, wait, or do they? No, they give you 2 for each. So that means I should technically have 4. So what they do give you, they give you 2 of these, which are your sides, and then one of these. And this is how you create your abutment. And it's a decent size because even with where are they? Is this it? Yeah. So when you have it set up like this, and I'm going to mildly set it up here, and then you have your beams on top, trains will go underneath. If it's just on a code, I think code 83 does work, but I think code 100 is not too far off, and that should work. However, if you put it on cork, you need to raise these up with cork as well, just to get that right height, just so that it's over top and your clearance is good. Whoops, that's upside down. So trains will fit underneath that, but oh, and you know what? I can show you here. Whoop. Okay, I'm just gonna empty that off. Look, I've got not whatchamacallit, center beam, guys. Okay, so see what I mean? So that clearance is really good. There's like I can fit my hand under there. That's how good that clearance is. But when you have, let's say, I mean, there's no rail on that, so that might make this a little bit less believable, but that's okay. So yeah, the clearance is still there. Mind you, center beams aren't the tallest. I think the bi-levels are taller than those, and then auto racks are probably about the same height as bi-level, or whatchamacallit, bi-level cars. Double stacks are the tallest car, but you should still be able to make it under that. No problem. Does anyone know how you get rid of this heart thing on the side of the chat? Oh, you know what? I think that I'm supposed to be able to do that, but I can't find that in the settings. Yeah, Kristen, weren't you driving around like the Maple Leafs or something at one point, or a girls' soccer team or something? And how do I rent you for a day just to drive me around? Or is it like I rent the bus and you come with it? Oh, yes, Chris, you're suffering. Boom. Yeah, there should be a collaboration there. There should be a flight and a bus ride all in one. Nah, Chris drives the big bus. How's it going, Ryan? Now, John, if you drive those planes where you can literally, like, you drive up into the back of it with, like, trucks and stuff, that would be even cooler because then, like, Chris can drive us all in the bus, go up into the back of the plane, and then you fly the whole bus somewhere. Now, that's an experience. That would be nuts. Let's make that happen. It's like a cargo plane, right? And then to sweeten the deal, while you're up in the air, you drive the bus out and then like it parachutes down or something. That would be intense. It's like speed 5 or something. How many speeds are there? It'd be like speed versus like Uncharted, because all the stuff flying out the back of the plane in our Uncharted, and then you have to like climb up all the boxes to get back to the plane. Yeah, I see movies. We make movie references here. Load it up. That's right. According to the Fast and the Furious franchise, it's possible and doable. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's beat that Toronto traffic and just drive the bus into a plane. Fast and the Furious, like 32. How many is there of those now? I don't know. But yeah, we can do like, it'll be like, it's all about family. And then like, we all load up into a bus. Train family. Mia Familia. I'd shave my head for that. Okay, so this is kind of my hope here, and it's to either, I'm going to do one of two things. One, I create one long abutment just like this, and then I put one side here and then another side down here, which I'd have to use it. I've got both the same sides here, so I need the other side for that. So I do that, and then I've got one long abutment. Or, and this is just an idea, I'm talking out loud here, just to kind of make it a little bit more realistic, we do that, and then I offset it like this, where one's up here and one's here, and I do that, which I think would also be cool because it gives it extra support in the middle. And yeah, then that way they're not completely together, and I can kind of separate them, or even change the elevation a bit. But yeah, it's an idea. It's just, there's a few things that I'm kind of mowing around with here, just trying to think of something that, so it doesn't like every bridge doesn't look the same. So when you're building a kit like this, you don't want every kit to look the same on your layout. You know what I mean? So that's what we're hoping for here. Yeah, that was only under the circumstances to which we would be role playing the Fast and the Furious and jumping out of a plane for family. That was literally it. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't happen. But nice try, Mark. I wonder what. Okay, I gotta get the other piece here. Which is the opposite side? It's this one. I plan on making a short video meme with my coach bus like the Bentley one. I'll be looking forward to that. Okay, so yeah, we've got two sides here. It also allows you to make it shorter because there is a line there. Same thing here. So that's kind of cool. You don't really have to use the full thing. You can always make it much, much shorter, which is always an idea. I usually just put this down right flat onto the layout though, just to give it that support. And then if I build up on the sides or in the front of it, I even did a thing on my other one where I put like a piece of styrene coming out like this, just kind of because in some cases they have the concrete that runs up to it as well. And I had some extra styrene, so I built a thing to go like around it like that as well. And then I had, you know, ground and whatnot on the side of it. So, but yeah, just an idea. You can still customize these despite the fact that, you know, there is really there's a set way to build it, but you can really customize anything, I think. Might take some extra parts and whatnot from other kits, but Bentley. I don't think I've seen a Bentley commercial. Mind you, I don't watch a lot of TV. I spend at least 40 some odd hours staring at a computer screen a week. So the last thing I do when I'm not working is watch TV. And it's funny because like I'll have clients and they ask me, it's like, oh, do you get to watch hockey at all? And it's like, no, because they're always playing while I'm working. So I don't get to watch sports. I don't have a TV readily available to me where I'm working. Just the, you know, at least that's an easier explanation than, nope, I watch YouTube videos and train people doing train things with their layouts. And I think the funniest thing is like I had a client at one point and we were discussing the technology behind it and all that, and he made a reference that clicked in. Well, it was a kind of a joke / reference to DC versus DCC, and I said to him, I'm like, wait a minute, I get your joke because, you know, this. And it turns out that he was a model railroader out in Quebec somewhere. And yeah, it was really neat to have a discussion with him. Now, obviously, he just does DC, which there's nothing wrong with that. But he does like CP Steam, which is really cool. And, you know, it's just nice to be able to do that out of nowhere. And it's probably, you know, with the amount of people that work at my work, the one person that calls is the one person who has a lot in common with him in the sense of, you know, model railroading. You don't ever really expect that, and then it happens, and you're like, wow, that was neat. All right, Mark, you have yourself a great afternoon. Happy wife, happy life. You know it, Chris. Thanks for stopping by. We hope to see some videos soon. Keep in touch. I still have so much to do before we go on vacation, and we leave next Monday. Not tomorrow Monday, but next Monday. Should probably get a haircut. All this talk of me cutting my hair. Bubs is trying to mount the lights on his place down structures. He's doing the fun stuff, the lighting. I'm gonna have to file these down a little bit to make them smoother. Way too many repetitive parts here. See, I want to do the wide bridge, but now I'm thinking maybe I do just another long bridge instead. It's a tough call, but Like, I like the idea of the wide bridge, but because I'm looking at it and I'm like, that seems wide, right? Because this is supposed to be, that's a 2-lane thing right there. That's 2 lanes. That's 4 lanes, maybe even more. I can do a 2-lane and a shoulder, basically. I don't know. Maybe I'm worrying about nothing. But there's got to be somewhat of a story to it because it has to make sense. So it's either it was built all at once to support, you know, all the bridge, or it was one bridge and then they've added another one since to widen it, basically. So who knows? But I do got to come up with something. Do you like the Highway 7 bridge just near you? It's 2 bridges. That's true. That is true. I think that only goes over one track. Are you talking about the one like in between Canada and Bayshore area? Hey Dave, how's it going? Because I think I think there's just one track that goes under that. I don't even know if they use that anymore. I know Via used to fly through there. .407 or the 417. Trying to think of which one that is. Here's another thing. They only give you 4 of these. So I kind of have to either do 2 wide and be okay with that, or I have to buy extra side rails just to do the bridge, right? I'm going to also check my bits box because I know I've had other kits like this. Other bridge kits. I know I've purchased quite a few bridge kits in my day, so. Oh, that one. Okay. Going over the Chalk River sub in Carleton Place. Is that what you're talking about? I mean, it's close enough that I can go and take a picture and be like, okay, so this is what I will model. I'd have to do that before the snow, before snow happens. Bubs, did you hear that the charger has already started in service, or it just started in service this past week or something? So that means that if you're in Smiths Falls, there's a good chance that you might see the charger go through. Because I'm pretty sure it's doing the Montreal to Toronto trip, the corridor. I think there's been a few pictures of it going through Smiths Falls already, but I feel like I'm the only one out of all you guys who hasn't seen it yet. Like, I haven't seen it in person. You know, it's crazy. It's just I need to see this thing in person. I thought they've just been testing. That's what I thought. I was under the impression that this entire time has just been testing the track to make sure it's good and that it can handle the locomotive. I technically haven't been rail fanning since the barbecue, actually, since beginning of September. That's what happens when you're busy, right? You don't get much time to have fun. But I know I have to go out to Smiths Falls on Saturday. This Saturday coming up. So I'm going to stop by and see if it rolls through. Okay, these are all clean. These are all the abutments. Whoops. These are all the wall things. These are the supports. Do you guys think I should do the round supports or the square supports? To me, it doesn't matter too much. But, yeah, I guess I have to wait on that in order for me to know. It has to go too wide or too long. And how long did I say that would be? So that would have to go to there for that to work. So that's how long it would technically be. And that's not a bad size bridge. I think my other one is longer because I had to, I think I did it this long and then I had to cut out the curves on both ends. But I think I only used one kit. No, I used 2 kits. So that means I should probably have more of this stuff somewhere. Well, do round supports. Probably. I think my other one, I did the round supports. Do the round on one bridge and the square on the other to make it look like it was done at different times. Ah. Okay. Yeah, because I think that the supports, much like the walls, so if I do the walls, right, I don't think I'll do them like this. I think I'll do them like this, where one was built and then the other one was added after. And then that way I can do one round and one square. Maybe the square one is the older one and the newer one is round. Does that sound, that sounds like a thing? Because then those will be, you know, not side by side like this as well. They might be off by a little bit as well. So that might be the idea for that. I do want to get the measurements for that And I know you're thinking, Chris, why didn't you get the measurements already? It's like, well, I mean, like I've been working on like 50 things, so. So, what I'm going to do, because got about 45 minutes left, I am going to work on something that I have been, what? Okay, I'll close that after. That I was working on previously that I'm still not done. And I'm making little 2x4s for my wood load here. So these are all my little 2x4s. And these are my lumber loads. Check this out. So that's my lumber load. It's Beaver lumber. For those of you who remember Beaver lumber. And I've got a bunch that I'm just loading up on the car here. But what I need to do so that they're not sitting flat is I need to put little 2x4s underneath so the lift truck can put its forks in to, lift them out, right? And it looks really cool with all of them facing the same way and being stacked right along here. And I've got two more that I still need to wrap. Whoops. And then I need to do all the ones for the other side as well. Where's all my 2x4s? But I know I need to make more 2x4s. So that's why I'm doing this. It's just painful, that's all. It's painful making 2x4s. And this is how it started. It's like, I could cut blocks of wood, but I don't have blocks of wood. I have these little Walthers blocks. No beavers were hurt in the wrapping of these loads. But yeah, so these are the Walthers lumber loads. There's specific measurements. I think this is like a 16-footer. And I've got a shorter one that's like a 10-footer. But I'm doing the bigger ones on here. I took an actual garbage bag, like the white plastic garbage bag, and I cut out, these are too thick so that it's not super see-through, and they're wrinkly because, it's never flat, like super flat on there. And then I have a whole bunch of logos that M&M Rails printed out for me, and there's a couple of different colors too. There's the yellow with the green, and then the green with the yellow, because they had a couple of different versions over the years. They don't exist anymore. This is more like a mid 80s. When did they close? In the 90s? Shoot, I don't remember when they closed, but I know that they've been around for a really long time. And I used to go there as a kid with my parents and whatnot. So that's why I'm doing the Beaver lumber, and I've got a building on my layout that is Beaver lumber. So these will bring the lumber to the store. So, and I've also got a Beaver lumber truck that I found. Very cool. But yeah. What material did you use? I may need to get some for a few of my builds. $10 bundles per side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, I mean, I could do something like that, or something like that. And then just do the tie down. And I'm going to use probably black thread to tie it down, but I'm going to get all these made first. I'm going to weather the car, put these back in, and then I'm going to do the tie down to it. That way they're locked in. So I'm going to need another pack of these, I think. I took all the smaller ones, and do you guys remember how I got the industrial shelving? The small ones fit on the industrial shelving really, really well. So I put those right at the Beaver lumber, just for some outdoor shelving. I got to paint those and everything still, but one thing at a time, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these and I'm going to glue some 2x4s to the bottom. And that way I can finish something. Yeah, I can't remember if I was doing 3. I think I was doing 3. I think I was doing 3. Yeah, because these are really long, so that you need the extra support. So basically it'll look like that, and that's the bottom. All the beavers went on strike for better working conditions and better pay. When they were asked, "Do you feel overworked?" They were stumped. They were also asked, "How are your benefits?" Or do you want more benefits? And they said, "Nah." But it's too early for jokes. Gotta get this lid off of here. There we go. So I'm just going to use a little dab because I don't think I need a lot to get this to stick. Stick, get it? Because it's wood. Thanks, Brian. Oh, Beaver Lumber closed in 2000? I felt like it was earlier than that. How old was I in 2000? Well, I graduated in 2004. No way. No, they closed before then. Like, I was super young when they closed. Unless you Googled it. Did you Google it, Brian? Because, like, I mean, just the one by my house, I guess you could say. The one where I grew up. It was closed like early 90s. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry. So that's one. See, just putting 3 little 2x4s there. Hey Glenn, how's it going? And this is, I should tell you, this is a stir stick, obviously. These are very thin. This one's kind of wonky, to be honest with you. I'd probably grab a new one. But yeah, that's how I made these 2x4s. I, square the ends, cut to length, and I get about like 3 or 4 out of the width of this. And I got a pack of these from the dollar store. Was it $1? No, it was probably like $2 or $3 because nothing at the dollar store costs $1 anymore. Which, that's outrageous. Just change the name of the store so we're not misled when we go in there. Jeez. Okay. Well, we'll just add some more here. So I went to this side of that. And that's the front, and that's the back. As far as like fine strips versus, using what I have at home or what's easily accessible. Like, I'm not a huge rivet counter when it comes to certain things. I just want it to look realistic enough that it looks believable. I don't think somebody's going to, go up to my layout with calipers or gauges and, oh, that's not a 2x4, that's a 12x9 or something like that. You know what I mean? So it just has to look believable. I don't try to pay too much attention to the rivet counting side of it. I just want it to look nice. And this was like, honestly, like, besides the fact that those are Walther's lumber loads and they're a little pricey for what you get. Besides that, this was fairly inexpensive to make, seeing as how I had plastic garbage bags laying around the house. No, well, not laying around the house. They were, with the garbage bags. But I happen to have white ones, which is neat because I like the white wraps, And then, of course, Mark, being the swell guy he is, printing me off like a few thousand Tiny Beaver lumber logos. Like that's amazing. That didn't cost a cent. And then just, I mean, like, yeah, it's painful cutting these, like every single little 2x4. But I mean, that's part of the hobby, right? Like, you gotta be able to do all that tedious stuff as well as the larger stuff. Like, yeah, I can build a layout and I can put paper mache down and all that other fun stuff, and static grass. Doing that is really fun. But if your layout was 100% static grass and you never had to do wiring or, tedious stuff, then it wouldn't look good. All you're doing is one thing. Not going to build that much of a layout. Like, I'm not a fan of doing electrical or wiring, but imagine having a layout but no wiring. It wouldn't go anywhere. You wouldn't be able to do anything. You have this really fancy layout that looks amazing, but it doesn't run. So you gotta be able to do all the tedious stuff as well as the fun stuff. Hey Gavin, how's it going? Yeah, I think the only thing at the dollar store that's still technically $1 or less is like chocolate bars. I usually get a pack of M&Ms for like 89 cents or something like that. Did you get permission from the CEO of the management of supplies of the household? Yeah, she didn't know. I think when I grabbed the garbage bag, she thought I was going to go clean or something. Boy, was she surprised. Oh, nice. Yeah, next year I'll probably be doing more stickers. I've got quite a few logos that I need to make stickers of. Probably do a new t-shirt and hoodie as well. Keep the classics, but switch up the logo every year. The trash bags, it's a nice look to it because it gives it that shine without it being overly reflective, and it holds together real nice with the Instacure glue. That's what I use to attach the plastic together. So it worked really well. And that was just like I didn't try something out beforehand. That was fully like, okay, so hopefully this works. And it did. So I was very happy about that. Like, oh, thank goodness that didn't start a small fire or anything. Because that's what we all, hope for, to work on a project and not start a fire, right? I try to keep the train space as clean as possible. Like she works down here too now, but you know, she understands that certain things you got to make a mess in order to, you know, do something cool. Like I don't know, when I cut the foam makes a really bad mess, and I'm talking like the pink foam. It like, despite the fact that it's not that beaded stuff, like the beaded stuff would be terrible. That's like the worst stuff to use. But even with the pink stuff, if I'm shaving it down to make like a hill or something, it makes quite a mess. And it's like it gets stuck to my clothes. It's all over the carpet, all over it's not ideal. But you still got to do it, right? Oh, I found another 2x4. They're trying to escape me. Hey, Mike, how's it going? I got as far as I could with the bridge, and now I am adding my little 2x4s to my lumber loads. I think, yeah, Glenn, you're absolutely right. I think that when it comes to cutting the foam and whatnot, I I think that's why I like doing the cardboard strips and the paper mache more. Well, I say paper mache, but it's whatchamacallit. It's what's it called? Plaster cloth. That's why I like doing that more because that's not as messy. At least I don't find it as messy as shaving the foam down. So I'll do the cardboard weaving in a lot of areas, and then I whatchamacallit, I add the paper mache to cover up the ground. I think I'll no, Roy. No, still not done. The building side of it is mostly done. I have to do a whole area above the helix, though, which that'll be next year's problem. But for the most part, it's done being built, but I have a few industries that I'm still working on just to try to make them better. I've taken some apart just to redo it to make sure that when I'm running trains and I'm doing the whole operation thing, when I get to that part, that I won't have any issues, that it works more or less. But a lot of running. I've been doing a lot more running. Oh, buildings? No, I mean, like, there's some areas that I need to fill in still with some backdrop buildings as well. And then also details. I've been watching a lot of Mike's stuff, Mike HO Trains there. And he's really inspired me to do a lot more detail stuff, like the really good detail stuff. So even with my paper mill, where a lot of it is together, the buildings are done as far as they're built and they're in place where I want them. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up removing them, and I'm going to do a lot of detail stuff to the buildings, and then I'm going to put them back. But I'm going to add all the little things to make it look a little bit more believable, a little bit more detailed, instead of just a blank building that is sitting there. You know what I mean? Just because it's a backdrop building doesn't mean it doesn't or shouldn't have characteristics of a fully fledged building that you can walk around or see all around. But yeah, go check out his stuff too. His stuff's really good. Details aren't everything. I'm telling you, most of this stuff, it's like you're writing a story, you know? So like when I was talking about the bridge, is it one big bridge that was built all at once, or was it a smaller bridge and then like 20, 30 years later another bridge was built right beside it because of the increase of traffic in that area? You know, you gotta follow the story, right? To make it believable. I have a few ideas. I just, when you have so many things on the go, and you're one person, it kind of makes me wish I had just a shelf layout that I can just make that. But, when you get into the whole, well, I like to run loops and, I have 3 levels. So it's like there's a lot there. And even with that little farming kit that I was working on there, it like the track isn't down for that section yet. I have track leading up to the area, but there's still a lot more that has to be done with that section. And I was kind of waiting on the building just to be able to get to that point. And now that I have the building, I can kind of work around that building. And this here, this is just, you know, a side quest where I'm like, I've had these cars. This was actually a special run that Otter Valley did with Atlas. And OVR did the Ontario Northland version of these, only 4 numbers. And they were never done before. I honestly wish that they would do more, because I want more than just 4 of these. That would be amazing. But yeah, maybe at some point. Another thing is adding people. People also bring the scene to life. People and animals. And I've recently started to add animals, thanks to Mini Prints. You know, been doing a lot of that stuff. But I want to start adding people as well. People doing things. The cool thing about this ruler is that there's cork on the back, so it actually gives me a bit of grip. So I don't have to worry about something sliding around when I'm trying to make a precise cut. As this thing gets smaller and smaller. Oops. Okay, I'm just gonna... So I've got all these. These could be little 4x8s. Well, probably not. They're probably off by size a little bit. But what I'm gonna do, because that's the length that I need. So I'll just cut little 2x4s, or equivalent in my mind. And I don't like that one, so that's going to go in the garbage. So I think I got about four out of that. No, I don't like that. Okay, that's a bit better. Just turn that around. Also, they're coming out with like new kits and whatnot all the time. So I'm like, I see something that I'm like, how can I incorporate that into the layout? How can I use that? Because I'd really like to have it. So
I'm always I always have an eye out for new kits and whatnot that I could use potentially. So I really like building kits and stuff. But yeah, there's this backdrop building that ITLA makes, and it's like $200 for this kit. Oof. But I'm like, if I'm gonna do a kit, if I'm gonna try a wood kit and do that, I want to go all out. I want to try a really cool kit. I can't just get some small thing and be like, guess I'm doing this today. No, I'm gonna get a really cool looking kit that, and a lot of their stuff is modular as well, which is really cool. So that's something else that I really like. So I can make it fit the area to which I want it to go. Okay, well that's two. I think I can't use that one. I built a chopper to cut strip wood. That sounds convenient. That sounds way more convenient than what I'm doing here. That sounds like a James thing. James would probably build a template for that, and then he'd say, okay, well, this is the template for it, and then he would make 5,000 cuts with that one template, and they'd all be the same. My thought, and this is just my thought, is that if you've ever been to a hardware store, and I'm going to say in my case, Home Depot? Home Depot? Yeah, Home Depot. And I've been shopping for 2x4s. And when I go shopping for 2x4s, I stand there. I'm the guy that stands there and checks to see, if there's some really bad knots in it, if it's warped. And it's like every single 2x4 is different. So in a case like this, I feel like no two of these, no two 2x4s here will be the same. It's too small. If you're wrapping the lumber with the plastic bag, why cut out individual 2x4s? Because when they do have a little bump on the bottom, but you can't even really see it. And I didn't cut out the bottoms because I wanted to just wrap the full thing, but you can't see it. So I add the extra 2x4 on the bottom to separate them, to make it look like they're actually floating right above each other. Again, just my thought process for that. But yeah, you should be able to see the little thing on the bottom there. Just to kind of, and it's usually sticking out just a little bit on the front. So that's my thought process with that. Oops. But I do want to let these dry before I try stacking them, because I feel like if I stack them, then they will never come apart, and that might ruin them. Because down the road, let's say hypothetically, let's say next layout or whatever, there's nothing beaver lumber on there, right? I want to be able to take all these loads off and then just rewrap them. Yeah, I'll cut new 2x4s and whatnot, but I can always change the logo out and still be able to reuse them. Or I just sell the whole thing as it is, and maybe someone will appreciate the beaver lumberness of it. Who knows? But I like it way too much to sell it, and I kind of need them, so I'm just worried about the right now. You could use that 2 small piece as scrap wood at your lumber yard, just thinking and so. Yeah, no, that's true. They can be just laying around. I mean, there's lots of sawdust and whatnot debris in lumber mills. And it's funny because when I was cutting wood, like when I was building my layout in the basement here, I had my table saw in the back room because I've got like a workshop back there, even though I don't really do work back there. But I kept all the sawdust and I put, well, not all the sawdust, just a lot of the cleaner looking sawdust from the little, the bag that you have on the back of your table saw. It collects it. I put a lot of that into Ziploc bags. And I think I have about 3 or 4 bags of sawdust that I'm going to use, like kind of like ballast, like around the edging and whatnot. Also, I do have some wood chip cars, or a wood chip car. I want to do a thing where they collect wood chips and whatnot. So I'm going to do like a load of wood chips and stuff like that. And that'll add to the finer stuff. I plan on extending my shelf layout another 8 feet next year. But first I wanted to get my phase 1 layout done first. That's fun. Yeah, you've got a great shelf layout, and I'm sure that the next section will be just as amazing or even more. Well, that's what I was telling Chris, big CW that was in the chat earlier, right? Because he's constantly been in that stage where he has a room to use, he doesn't have a room to use. He starts building a layout, has to take it down. Kind of like how I was for years, where I was constantly moving and whatnot. So I would start building a layout and then I'd have to take it apart and start over, and it gets really annoying after a while. But having a shelf layout, no matter what size it is, it's still something. You're still working on something. You're working towards something. You're being able to use, the models and whatnot that you have. You don't have to have, hundreds of cars. If you have like 10 cars and, you're switching them around and whatnot, you're still doing something. You're still enjoying the hobby in your way. And like he was telling me the other day that he's going to start building a shelf layout. I'm like, yeah, that's so cool, because it's been a while since I've seen him be able to do something layout wise. I wish I could do like a little I know you can't really see because I'm like camera's pointed down, but like there's a wall right here and there's nothing. There's nothing here. And I have another DCC system. Like I've got a backup DCC system, which I could full on do a little shelf layout here. And I'd love to be able to do that just for fun. But you know, I've got a full layout that I've got to worry about. That thing already, you know, it gets neglected sometimes and whatnot. So if I start another side project, I'm going to be drowning in trains or train projects. But yeah, watching your stuff is very inspirational. It's motivating too. 20 rolling stock and 5 locomotives. Do you need more than that? You know what I mean? Like with a shelf layout, depending on the industries that are being served, in most cases, the best thing you could do is box cars, because a lot of things get shipped with a box car. You can do multiple box cars. Depending on the size, you can go 40-foot box cars and be able to fit more and do a sharper radius if you are doing curves. Or the standard, which is like a 50-foot box car, right? But it really depends on the industry that you're doing as far as, you know, with switching and all that. But yeah, usually box cars are like the most common that you would do with something like that. Hundreds of train cars and 3,000 trucks and trailers. That is the realest thing I think you've ever said. I think that you having like 3,000 model trucks is probably like Guinness worthy. I'm sure you're holding some sort of record right there. It's a vehicle layout with trains. That sounds about right. That's cool too, because there's a lot of cool trucks and whatnot. And then you start getting into like the flatbeds, and then what are you putting on said flatbed? Well, you know, construction equipment, you know, stuff like that. Do you have any? I was going to ask you, Roy. Do you have? I don't know what you would call them, but the trucks that carry cars to dealerships. You know, the multi-level trailer thing. They're usually open, double level. Do you have any of those? Like, do those exist anywhere? I don't know what you would call them. But yeah, I never see any of those made by a model manufacturer. I know they make a lot of construction equipment, which is cool. Like, what are they called? Cats? Cat equipment. And then there's also a lot of John Deere stuff that you can find. Ah, yeah. Cat construction and Deere. I know Brian from Inked Rails. He has some pretty cool trucks as well, and a couple of cranes. The cranes are like so cool. I don't know who makes them though. If he was still here, I'd ask him. But yeah, they're really neat. I enjoy the trucks and stuff. Trucks or trailers or whatever you want to call them. Trucks with trailers. They've got a good selection. Walters made a car hauler. Oh, there's Brian. Brian, who makes your cranes? You've got cranes. Who makes those? Because you've got some cool ones there. you've got a whole. I don't know the name of the truck company, but they're like black and red, and I'm like, ooh, there's my colors, and that looks really good. If you haven't seen Brian's video where he's showing all his trucks, it's probably not even all of them. I think M&M Rail, or not M&M Rails. Trackside Mike works for Momoet. I think he's a crane operator guy. So he'd be really interested in some of those. My son stole all my space in the basement, so I'm building a shelf layout around my bedroom. He can't steal that space. That's for sure. That's for sure. OVR sells an auto transport kit. Oh, neat. Do you know what the manufacturer is? Because I always see those. And especially, let's say for those of you who have let's say a dealership. I see a lot of cars get dropped off at dealerships with those. $3,000 toys. The company name is Momoet. They are made by Tonkin? Or is it Tankin? Tonkin. Okay. IMC and WSI. Huh. I don't think the sections between levels are high enough to put a crane in for me, but for anybody who's watching that does enjoy a good crane, at least now you know where to look. Okay, and I'm preemptively making more of my little, because it was it. So for 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's probably a weight thing where you can only put 10 loads per side or something. But if I've got 10, so that means 3 on each, so 30. So I would need at least 30 of these to do the other. Just the truck. That's fine because there's a lot of, like, you can do a lot of different, or you can buy trucks individually, right? There's a lot of companies that make just the truck, the cab part, and just swap them out. That's only the trailer. Still, that's still, if it's just a trailer, then you got to find cars, and then you load it up with the cars. Mike, I don't know if you've ever seen it or if I've ever mentioned it to you, but there's another YouTuber, and I haven't seen him post in a while, so that worries me. Just like, whenever anybody else doesn't post in a really long time. CSX Mad. He has an amazing layout, and he does some really neat things. So he's got that system where cars will move along, and you can't see how they're moving, but it's like a conveyor thingy that's underneath that magnetically pulls the cars. But what he has is an auto facility where they make the cars and then they get loaded up into auto racks. So what he has is he has two auto racks sitting with the loading platform, you know, that goes up to the top level of the auto rack, right? Magnet track, right? So the cars come out of the facility, they go around, and then they come up, and then they go up the ramp, and then into the back of the auto rack, and then they disappear, right? I'm pretty sure it goes back down, goes through the layout, and then around into the building somehow, and then it comes out and then goes back up in it. You know what I mean? So something like that is probably one of the most impressive things I've seen. I don't get out much, but just the creative side of that, just to do that and have that all come together and work so well. Yeah, check it out. CSX Mad. But yeah, I haven't seen him post in a while, which is kind of weird. Last time I saw him post, he was working on an ore dock, or should I say it was what, 2 or 3 ore docks together, and you know, the whole thing lights up and everything. Again, you know, it's an over the top, like, amazing engineering right there. But I think he used like Walther's kits. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so I cut those. Those are drying. I'm sure you'll see the finished product at some point, like when I weather this and I've got more wrap loads. It's the kind of thing that I'm going to work on for a while, because I don't ever think it takes, like, you know, a short amount of time to do something like this. It will take time. And also with the fact that I got to get more lumber loads, I think, what was it? I need two more packages of them. I'm just going to do it all the same. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. But that's it. We went from brunch to lunch, and I'm done for the day. Yeah, his layout is pretty big. With the fact that, like, he's got that whole mountain scene, the snowy rocks, frozen lake type thing. He's worked on that for a long time. But yeah, I don't remember the last time he's posted, and I haven't seen anything recently. So that's why I'm like, is he doing okay? And I think he's on the other side of the pond, right? He's not in the Canada or US. So it's not like a quick phone call. Hey, you good? Why are you not posting? I'm bored here. But yeah, so again, tomorrow night we'll be over on Mark's channel, Trackside. Did I say Mark's channel? Mike's. This guy's got to change their name. Too many M's. Trackside Mike. We're going to be over on Trackside Mike's channel. He's putting a hole in the wall. He's going to run trains through that hole, and we'll see what happens. Last year there was smoke. There was an explosion of some sort. I think he's going to use live dynamite this time, which will probably make quick work of it. But I'll be there. I'll be watching, and then come back on Tuesday morning-ish. Depends on what time because I got to take my wife to work, and then I'll be back, and we'll run some Halloween trains together, because it'll be Halloween, the 31st. Where has this year gone? And then we'll be over on Tim's channel. They make it like that on Thursday, and see what he's been working on. I know he's been working on a shelf type layout himself, so we'll see if he's actually going to run some trains this time, or if he's working on the layout. We'll see what happens. But regardless, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a blast. I've been having lots of fun here working on kits and working on my beaver lumber carrying center beam. Yeah, you have yourselves a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.